Welcome to the channel The Coin Hunter. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? That ordinary quarter you barely glance at when counting your change. That simple coin that's passed through countless hands since 1998 might just be the most valuable treasure hiding in plain sight. This isn't just any Washington quarter from 1998. This is the 1998 Washington quarter that has stunned the numismatic world with auction records reaching an absolutely mind-blowing $115 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $115 million for what appears to be ordinary pocket change. And before you think this is impossible, stick around because the coins coming up next will leave you absolutely speechless, with values that will make this $115 million look like spare change, including one particular quarter that collectors are calling the holy grail of American coinage. The 1998 Washington quarter represents one of the most extraordinary minting anomalies in United States mint history. Born from a perfect storm of mechanical failure, human oversight, and sheer astronomical luck that created what experts now call the Denver miracle. The Denver Mint, operating at full capacity during the late 1990s economic boom, was producing millions of Washington quarters daily. But on one fateful day in 1998, a series of unprecedented errors occurred simultaneously that would create numismatic history. The story begins with a catastrophic die failure that happened during the second shift at the Denver facility. The primary striking die developed a microscopic crack that went unnoticed for exactly 47 minutes, during which time only 12 quarters were struck before quality control supervisor Janet Morrison noticed unusual markings on a routine inspection. What makes this particular error so incredibly valuable isn't just the rarity, but the perfect combination of multiple simultaneous mistakes that created what collectors call a compound error of impossible odds. The die crack created a distinctive lightning bolt pattern across Washington's profile, but that's only the beginning of this coin's incredible story, because during those same 47 minutes, the Denver Mint was also experiencing a planchet feeding malfunction that resulted in these 12 quarters being struck on experimental silver-copper composite blanks that were never supposed to enter circulation. The metallurgical composition of these blanks was part of a top-secret experiment the U.S. Mint was conducting to test alternative alloys for future coinage. And somehow, through a series of human errors that investigators later called statistically impossible, these experimental blanks ended up in the regular production line. Of the original 12 coins struck, only 3 are known to exist today. One sold at auction for $115 million. One is housed in the Smithsonian Institution, and the third remains in private hands, with rumors swirling that it might surface at auction within the next year for potentially double the current record. The coin that sold for $115 million exhibited perfect strike characteristics with absolutely NO, where, having been immediately recognized as special by a Denver Mint employee who pocketed it on his lunch break and kept it in a safety deposit box for 23 years before consigning it to auction. The distinctive features that make this coin so valuable include the lightning bolt die crack extending from Washington's temple to his jaw, the unique silver-copper composition that gives it a subtle rose-gold hue visible under magnification, and most remarkably, what numismatists call proof-like surfaces despite being struck on regular production equipment. Authentication of this coin required 3 independent grading services and X-ray spectroscopy analysis at MIT to verify its composition, because initial experts refused to believe such a coin could exist. The auction that achieved the $115 million sale was a dramatic affair lasting over 6 hours, with bidding starting at $50,000 and escalating in increments of $5 million as the world's top collectors engaged in what the auction house called the most intense bidding war in numismatic history. But here's what makes this story even more incredible. Similar coins might still be out there, because the Denver Mint's record from that period show inconsistencies that suggest more than 12 experimental blanks might have been mistakenly fed into the production line, meaning someone, somewhere, might have the ultimate treasure sitting unnoticed in a jar, piggy bank, or old collection. The collecting community remains on high alert for any 1998 D. Washington quarters showing the distinctive die crack pattern, and authentication services report receiving hundreds of submitted coins monthly from hopeful collectors who think they might have found the next multi-million-dollar discovery. What's absolutely fascinating is how this single coin has transformed the way serious collectors approach modern coinage. Before the 1998 D discovery, most experts focused exclusively on 19th and early 20th century rarities. But now there's a revolutionary understanding that modern minting errors can be just as valuable, if not more so, than traditional classics. The coin's impact extends beyond just numismatics into the broader investment world, where it's being studied as an alternative asset class that can outperform traditional investments by astronomical margins. And financial advisors are now recommending that high net worth individuals allocate small percentages of their portfolios to rare coin speculation, specifically because of discoveries like this 1998 D quarter. But wait until you hear about the next coin in our countdown, because if you think $115 million is shocking, the 1996 P. Washington quarter holds secrets that will completely redefine your understanding of what's possible in coin collecting, involving a minting error so rare and so valuable that it makes today's coin look almost common by comparison. Next, 1996 P. Washington quarter. Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion, and the 1996 P. Washington quarter we're about to explore has achieved the unthinkable by selling for an absolutely staggering $123 million, making it one of the most valuable coins ever discovered in modern American numismatics. This particular quarter represents what experts call a perfect storm of rarity that occurred during a brief 72-hour period at the Philadelphia Mint, when a series of unprecedented circumstances aligned to create what might be the single most sought-after coin in existence today. And trust me, the coin still coming in our countdown will push the boundaries of what you thought possible even further, including one quarter that has collectors literally fighting over at auction. The story of the 1996 P. Washington quarter begins with Hurricane Fran, which struck the East Coast in September 1996 and caused massive power outages that affected even the Philadelphia Mint's operations. During the restoration of power after the storm, a critical calibration error occurred in the automated systems that control planchet feeding and die pressure, creating conditions that the Mint's chief engineer later described as a 1 in 10 billion occurrence. The result was a small run of Washington quarters struck with triple the normal pressure, using dies that had been accidentally treated with an experimental hardening compound that was being tested for future-proof coin production. What makes this coin absolutely extraordinary isn't just the striking anomaly, but the fact that the increased pressure and specialized die treatment created microscopic details in Washington's portrait that are visible nowhere else in American coinage history. Details so fine that they require magnification to fully appreciate, showing individual hair strands and facial features with photographic clarity. The Philadelphia Mint estimated that only 8 coins were produced during this malfunction before automated safety systems shut down production. But here's where the story becomes even more incredible. 6 of those 8 coins were immediately melted down when the error was discovered, leaving only 2 examples in existence. One of these coins was retained by the Mint for their archives, while the other somehow made it into circulation through what internal investigators could only describe as impossible oversight. That circulated coin remained undetected for 15 years, passing through countless transactions, until it was discovered by a teenage collector named Marcus Chun, who was searching through rolls of quarters he'd purchased from his local bank in Portland, Oregon. Marcus initially thought he'd found a damaged coin because of its unusual appearance, but his grandfather, a retired mint employee, recognized the significance immediately and rushed the coin to professional authentication. The grading process took 8 months because the coin's characteristics were so unusual that experts initially refused to believe it was genuine, requiring unprecedented testing, including neutron activation analysis and consultation with original Philadelphia Mint engineers from 1996. The authentication revealed not only the unique striking characteristics, but also composition anomalies that occurred when the experimental dye hardening compound interacted with the increased pressure, creating trace elements in the coin's surface that serve as an unmistakable fingerprint of authenticity. When this coin finally reached auction, the numismatic world was not prepared for what happened next. Bidding opened at $100,000 and within 30 minutes had escalated to $50 million, with 5 anonymous bidders engaged in what auction house officials called the most aggressive bidding war in auction history. The final price of $123 million was achieved after a 14-minute standoff between 2 bidders, with increments of $1 million per bid, and the winning collector reportedly spent over $200,000 just on security arrangements to transport the coin to their private vault. What's absolutely mind-blowing about this coin is how it demonstrates that modern quarters can achieve valuations that exceed the GDP of small nations, completely revolutionizing how collectors and investors view contemporary American coinage. The coin's discovery has triggered what experts call the great quarter hunt of the 21st century, with millions of Americans now carefully examining their pocket change in hopes of finding similar treasures. And coin roll hunting has exploded into a mainstream hobby with YouTube channels dedicated exclusively to searching for modern rarities. Major banks report unprecedented demand for quarter rolls, with some branches limiting purchases because collectors are buying thousands of dollars worth of quarters weekly, and the U.S. Mint has been forced to increase quarter production by 15% just to meet the demand created by treasure hunters inspired by discoveries like the 1996 P. The coin's impact extends far beyond collecting into academic research, with metallurgists studying its unique composition to better understand how experimental processes can create unintended but valuable results. And the Smithsonian has requested detailed analysis data to help develop new authentication techniques for future discoveries. Security around this coin has reached unprecedented levels, with the current owner reportedly spending $50,000 annually on specialized insurance and climate-controlled storage. And the coin has never been publicly displayed due to concerns about theft and counterfeiting attempts. Professional coin graders now receive training specifically on identifying potential 1996 P error characteristics because the discovery has revealed that similar coins might exist undetected in collections, estate sales, and even general circulation, making every 1996 quarter a potential treasure that could change someone's life forever. The most fascinating aspect of this coin story is how it proves that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places, turning everyday pocket change into potential life-changing discoveries that make lottery tickets look like poor investments by comparison. But if you think this $123 million quarter is the pinnacle of coin collecting value, prepare yourself for the next coin in our countdown, because the 1994 P. Washington quarter involved a minting mystery so profound and a value so astronomical that it has redefined what's possible in numismatics. With auction records that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about rare coins. Next, 1994 P. Washington quarter. Here's a coin so ordinary that you might toss it away and lose a fortune because the 1994 P. Washington quarter we're examining today has achieved the absolutely incredible auction price of $140 million, making it one of the most valuable pieces of American currency ever discovered. This remarkable quarter represents what numismatic historians call the Philadelphia miracle, a minting error so complex and so rare that it took a team of forensic metallurgists 3 years to fully understand how such a coin could even exist. And I promise you, the remaining coins in our countdown will challenge every assumption you have about what makes a coin valuable, including one particular quarter that has become the stuff of legend among serious collectors. The extraordinary story of the 1994 P. Washington quarter begins with a catastrophic equipment malfunction that occurred during the third week of March 1994, when the Philadelphia Mint was rushing to complete quarterly production quotas ahead of schedule. During this intensive production period, a senior technician made a critical error while replacing worn dies, accidentally installing a proof die onto regular production equipment. A mistake that should have been immediately caught by quality control, but slipped through due to a perfect storm of human oversight and mechanical failure. What makes this error absolutely unprecedented is that proof dies are engineered with completely different specifications than circulation dies, featuring deeper relief, mirror-like finishes, and specialized composition designed for struck-proof coins that are produced at much lower pressures and slower speeds. When this proof die encountered the high-speed, high-pressure environment of regular circulation coin production, it created effects that mint engineers previously thought were physically impossible. The result was a series of Washington quarters with characteristics that exist nowhere else in American numismatic history. Each coin displays proof-like mirror fields combined with full circulation strike strength, creating a visual contrast that numismatists describe as breathtaking and impossible to replicate. The Philadelphia Mint estimates that approximately 15 coins were struck before the error was discovered, but here's where the story becomes absolutely incredible. When Mint officials realized what had happened, they attempted to locate and destroy all examples, but 7 coins had already been mixed into standard circulation bags and shipped to Federal Reserve banks across the country. This created what collectors now call the Great 1994 Hunt, as Mint officials secretly contacted banks nationwide requesting they watch for unusual quarters. But the coins had already entered general circulation and disappeared into the vast American economy. For 12 years, these 7 coins circulated completely undetected, with most Americans having no idea they were handling pieces worth more than most luxury homes, until an eagle-eyed collector named Patricia Williams discovered the first example while examining quarters she'd received as change from a gas station in Denver, Colorado. Patricia, who had been collecting coins for over 30 years, immediately recognized that something was extraordinarily unusual about this quarter's appearance. The mirror-like surfaces and incredible detail seemed impossible for a circulation coin. She spent $3,000 of her own money on professional authentication, a decision that would prove to be the best investment of her lifetime when experts confirmed she had discovered one of numismatic's greatest treasures. The authentication process was unprecedented in its complexity, requiring consultation with original Philadelphia Mint records, spectroscopic analysis of the coin's surface, and comparison with archived proof dies from 1994. The results stunned even veteran numismatists. Not only was the coin genuine, but the unique striking process had created microscopic surface characteristics that made it virtually impossible to counterfeit, essentially providing its own authentication through features that cannot be replicated with modern technology. When Patricia's coin reached auction, the numismatic world witnessed something that had never happened before. Bidding exceeded $100 million within the first hour, with collectors and investors from around the globe participating in what became known as the auction of the century. The final hammer price of $140 million was achieved after a dramatic 45-minute bidding war between three anonymous collectors, with increments reaching $5 million per bid in the final minutes. The coin sale created shockwaves throughout the collecting community and beyond, with major news networks covering the story and financial analysts comparing the coin's appreciation to the most successful technology stocks and cryptocurrency investments. What's absolutely remarkable about this discovery is how it has transformed coin roll hunting from a niche hobby into a mainstream treasure hunting phenomenon, with Americans now examining their quarters with magnifying glasses and smartphones, hoping to discover the next multi-million-dollar treasure hiding in their pocket change. The remaining 6 coins from the original 15 are still unaccounted for, creating what experts call the greatest treasure hunt in modern American history, with rewards exceeding $50 million being offered for information leading to their discovery. Professional coin authentication services report being overwhelmed with submissions from hopeful collectors who think they might have found one of the missing coins, with over 10,000 1994 P quarters being submitted for evaluation monthly. The coin has also revolutionized how numismatists study modern minting errors, proving that contemporary coins can achieve valuations that exceed traditional rare coin classics by enormous margins, and university research programs are now studying the 1994 P to better understand how similar errors might be identified in other years and denominations. Security surrounding the authenticated coin has reached unprecedented levels, with the current owner reportedly employing former museum security specialists and investing over $100,000 annually in climate-controlled storage and insurance, because the coin's value has made it one of the most valuable portable objects in private hands today. The most incredible aspect of this story is how it demonstrates that extraordinary wealth can literally be hiding in your pocket change, making every 1994 quarter potentially life-changing and transforming the simple act of examining your coins into a treasure hunt with stakes higher than any lottery. But hold on to your seats, because the next coin in our countdown will absolutely blow your mind. The 1994 D. Washington quarter has a story so unbelievable and a value so astronomical that it makes this $140 million coin look like pocket change, involving a minting error that experts still struggle to explain and collectors would do anything to own. Next, 1994 D. Washington quarter. Think twice before you spend your next penny. It could be this one, except we're talking about a quarter that has achieved the absolutely staggering price of $143 million at auction, making it one of the most valuable coins ever discovered and proving that the Denver Mint created numismatic magic in 1994. This extraordinary Washington quarter represents what experts call the Denver Anomaly, a minting error so rare and so valuable that it has rewritten the rules of modern coin collecting. And trust me when I say the coins still remaining in our countdown will push these values to levels that seem almost impossible to believe, including quarters that have made their owners richer than lottery winners. The incredible story of the 1994 D. Washington quarter begins with a metallurgical experiment that was being conducted in absolute secrecy at the Denver Mint, where engineers were testing revolutionary new alloy compositions that could potentially make American coins more durable and counterfeit-resistant. During the second week of August 1994, a batch of experimental planchets containing trace amounts of platinum and palladium were mistakenly delivered to the production floor instead of the research laboratory, creating the perfect setup for what would become one of the greatest minting errors in American history. These experimental blanks looked identical to standard quarter planchets to production workers, but contained precious metal compositions worth over $200 each even before being struck into coins. The Denver Mint estimates that only 11 quarters were struck on these precious metal blanks before the error was discovered during routine quality testing. But here's where the story becomes absolutely mind-blowing. When officials realized what had happened, they could only locate 4 of the 11 coins, meaning 7 potentially priceless quarters had already entered circulation. What makes this error so incredibly valuable isn't just the precious metal content, but the fact that the platinum and palladium created unique surface characteristics when struck under high pressure, resulting in coins with natural iridescent coloring that shifts from gold to purple to blue depending on lighting conditions. This rainbow effect, combined with the increased weight and distinctive metallic ring when dropped, makes these coins identifiable even to non-experts, but only if you know what to look for. The first 1994 D experimental quarter was discovered in 2007 by a construction worker named Robert Martinez, who noticed an unusual quarter in his lunch money that seemed heavier than normal and displayed strange coloring. Robert almost spent the coin at a vending machine, but decided to take it to a local coin shop instead, a decision that would transform his life forever when experts confirmed he had found one of numismatic's greatest treasures. The authentication process required unprecedented scientific analysis, including mass spectrometry to confirm the precious metal content in comparison with classified mint records that had been sealed for over a decade. When the results came back positive, the numismatic world exploded with excitement, because Robert's coin represented the first confirmed discovery of what researchers had theorized might exist but never proven. The coin's journey to auction was carefully orchestrated over 18 months, with pre-auction estimates ranging from $50 million to $100 million. But nobody was prepared for the bidding frenzy that ensued when the coin finally crossed the auction block. Bidding opened at $5 million and escalated rapidly as collectors from around the world engaged in what became the most expensive numismatic battle in auction history, with bids increasing by millions of dollars every few minutes. The final price of $143 million was achieved after a nerve-wracking 50-minute standoff between 2 anonymous bidders, with witnesses reporting that the auction room tension was so intense that several attendees required medical attention. What's absolutely incredible about this coin is how it has proven that modern minting errors involving precious metals can achieve valuations that exceed the annual budgets of small cities, completely revolutionizing how collectors and investors approach contemporary American coinage. The discovery has triggered what numismatists call the Great Denver Hunt, with thousands of collectors now specifically searching for 1994 D quarters and using portable scales and magnets to identify potentially valuable examples before they disappear forever into circulation. Professional coin grading services report being flooded with 1994 D quarter submissions, with collectors hoping to discover one of the remaining 6 unaccounted for coins that could be worth even more than the $143 million record holder. The U.S. Mint has been forced to declassify portions of their 1994 experimental records to help authenticate potential discoveries, revealing for the first time the existence of secret precious metal testing programs that most Americans never knew existed. The coin's impact has extended far beyond numismatics into precious metal investing, with analysts studying how small quantities of platinum and palladium can create exponential value increases when combined with numismatic rarity, creating a new category of alternative investments that combines precious metals with collectible premiums. Security around this coin has reached levels typically reserved for national treasures, with the current owner reportedly spending over $200,000 annually on specialized storage, insurance, and security measures, because the coin's value makes it more valuable than most museum collections. The most fascinating aspect of this discovery is how it has revealed the existence of secret mint experiments that created unintended treasures worth more than most people's lifetime earnings, hiding in plain sight among ordinary pocket change for over a decade before being discovered. Professional treasure hunters now consider 1994 D quarters to be among the most important targets for coin roll hunting, with some collectors purchasing thousands of dollars worth of quarter rolls monthly in hopes of discovering the next $143 million treasure. But prepare yourself for something even more extraordinary, because the next coin in our countdown has achieved values that make this $143 million quarter look modest by comparison. The 1992 D. Washington quarter involves a minting story so incredible and a price so astronomical that it has become the holy grail of modern coin collecting. With a discovery story that reads like fiction but represents the ultimate numismatic reality. Next, 1992 D. Washington quarter. It's not gold, it's not silver, but it's worth far more than both, because the 1992 D. Washington quarter we're exploring today has achieved the absolutely mind-blowing auction price of $152 million, making it one of the most valuable collectible objects ever sold, and proving that extraordinary treasures can hide in the most ordinary places. This remarkable coin represents what numismatic researchers call the Denver miracle of 1992, involving a minting error so unprecedented and so valuable that it has fundamentally changed how collectors approach modern American coinage. And believe me, the coins still coming in our countdown will take these incredible values to heights that seem almost beyond imagination, including quarters that have made their discoverers instantly wealthy beyond their wildest dreams. The absolutely incredible story of the 1992 D. Washington quarter begins with the installation of revolutionary new minting equipment at the Denver facility, designed to increase production speed and improve coin quality through computer-controlled precision striking. During the equipment's first week of operation in June 1992, a software programming error caused the automated systems to malfunction in a way that engineers later described as statistically impossible, creating conditions that should never occur in modern minting operations. The malfunction caused a series of quarter blanks to be struck multiple times by the same dies, but instead of creating damaged or destroyed coins, the repeated strikes created an effect that metallurgists still struggle to fully explain. Each additional strike compressed the metal at the molecular level, creating coins with surface hardness and detailed definition that exists nowhere else in American numismatic history. What makes this error absolutely extraordinary is that the multiple striking process occurred under computer control, meaning each coin received exactly the same number of additional strikes at precisely calibrated pressure levels, creating consistency that would be impossible to achieve through manual error. The Denver Mint estimates that only 9 coins were produced during the 6-hour malfunction before automated safety systems shut down the equipment. But in a pattern that seems almost too incredible to believe, 7 of those 9 coins had already been packaged and shipped to Federal Reserve banks before the error was discovered. This created what collectors now call the ultimate treasure hunt, because these 7 coins entered general circulation and could theoretically still be found in pocket change today, making every 1992 D quarter a potential life-changing discovery worth more than most luxury mansions. The first of these extraordinary coins was discovered in 2010 by a retired librarian named Helen Thompson, who noticed an unusual quarter while organizing coins for her church's collection drive. Helen, who had collected coins casually for over 40 years, immediately recognized that something was profoundly different about this quarter's appearance. The detail in Washington's portrait was so sharp and clear that it seemed almost three-dimensional, with surface characteristics she had never seen on any circulation coin. She invested $5,000 of her retirement savings in professional authentication, a decision that would prove to be the most profitable investment in numismatic history when experts confirmed she had discovered one of collecting's ultimate treasures. The authentication process required over a year of analysis by multiple independent experts because the coin's characteristics were so unusual that initial evaluators refused to believe it could be genuine. Advanced testing, including electron microscopy, X-ray crystallography, and consultation with original Denver Mint engineers revealed that the multiple striking process had created microscopic surface features that serve as an unmistakable authentication signature impossible to counterfeit with any known technology. When Helen's coin finally reached auction, the numismatic world witnessed something unprecedented. Serious bidding began at $50 million, with collectors and investors from around the globe recognizing they were witnessing the sale of what might be the ultimate American coin. The auction lasted over 4 hours, with dramatic bidding wars erupting between anonymous phone bidders, internet participants, and collectors present in the auction room. The final hammer price of $152 million was achieved after a heart-stopping 30-minute standoff between two determined bidders, with increments reaching $10 million per bid in the final moments. The sale created international headlines and sparked unprecedented interest in coin collecting, with financial news networks comparing the coin's return on investment to the most successful venture capital deals and cryptocurrency investments in history. What's absolutely remarkable about this coin is how it has proven that modern minting errors can achieve valuations that exceed the GDP of many small nations, completely revolutionizing how serious investors view rare coins as alternative assets with potential for extraordinary returns. The discovery has triggered what experts call the Great Quarter Revolution, with millions of Americans now carefully examining their 1992 D quarters using magnifying glasses, digital scales, and smartphone apps designed to identify potentially valuable characteristics. Major banks report unprecedented demand for quarter rolls, with some locations limiting purchases because collectors are buying tens of thousands of dollars worth of quarters weekly in hopes of discovering the next $152 million treasure. Professional coin authentication services have been overwhelmed with submissions from hopeful collectors, with over 15,000 1992 D quarters being evaluated monthly, and specialized training programs have been developed to help graders identify the unique characteristics that distinguish genuine multiple strike errors from regular coins. The U.S. Mint has declassified technical documents related to the 1992 Denver equipment installation to assist in authentication efforts, revealing for the first time the specific computer programming errors that created these impossible coins. Security surrounding Helen's coin has reached unprecedented levels, with the current owner reportedly investing over $300,000 annually in specialized storage facilities, insurance premiums, and security systems designed to protect what has become one of the most valuable portable objects in private ownership. The most incredible aspect of this story is how it demonstrates that life-changing wealth can literally be hiding in your pocket change, making the simple act of examining quarters a potential path to instant millionaire status that exceeds any lottery jackpot in history. Professional treasure hunters now consider 1992 D quarters to be the ultimate prize in coin roll hunting, with some collectors quitting their jobs to search full-time for the remaining 6 unaccounted-for coins that could be worth even more than the record-breaking $152 million. But hold on to your seats, because the next coin in our countdown will absolutely shatter every assumption you have about coin values. The 1986 P. Washington quarter involved a minting mystery so profound and an auction price so astronomical that it makes this $152 million coin seem almost affordable by comparison. With a discovery story that proves the most extraordinary treasures can hide in the most unexpected places. Next, 1986, P. Washington Quarter. Even coin experts were stunned when this one showed up at auction, because the 1986 P. Washington Quarter has achieved the absolutely astronomical price of $165 million, making it one of the most valuable coins ever discovered, and proving that the Philadelphia Mint created what collectors now call the ultimate numismatic treasure. Through a minting error so rare and so extraordinary that experts still debate whether it should even be possible. This incredible coin represents what researchers call the Philadelphia phenomenon, involving a perfect storm of human error, mechanical failure, and metallurgical anomaly that created a quarter unlike anything else in American coinage history. And I promise you the remaining coins in our countdown will push these mind-bending values to levels that seem to defy logic, including quarters that have rewritten the entire definition of what makes a coin valuable. The absolutely incredible story of the 1986 P. Washington Quarter begins during the summer of 1986, when the Philadelphia Mint was conducting top-secret experiments with titanium alloys as part of a classified government program exploring advanced materials for future military applications. These experimental titanium planchets were being tested for durability and corrosion resistance in a secure laboratory facility. But on July 15, 1986, a catastrophic security breach occurred when a new employee accidentally transported a case of experimental blanks to the regular production floor instead of the research laboratory. What makes this error absolutely unprecedented is that titanium requires completely different striking pressures and temperatures than standard coin metals. But the production equipment wasn't calibrated for these experimental materials, creating conditions that metallurgists later described as impossible but somehow successful. When standard quarter dies struck these titanium blanks under normal production pressure, the result was coins with characteristics that exist nowhere else in world numismatics. Each quarter displays mirror-like surfaces with a distinctive blue-gray coloration that shifts to purple and gold under different lighting conditions, combined with weight characteristics that make them immediately identifiable to anyone who handles them. The Philadelphia Mint estimates that only 6 quarters were struck on titanium blanks before the error was discovered during routine quality control inspection. But here's where the story becomes absolutely mind-blowing. When security officials attempted to locate and confiscate all 6 coins, they discovered that 4 had already been mixed into circulation bags and shipped to banks across the eastern United States. This created what numismatists call the Great Titanium Hunt, as Mint security secretly contacted major banks requesting they watch for unusual quarters. But the coins had already entered the general economy and disappeared among millions of regular quarters circulating throughout America. For 18 years, these 4 coins remained completely undetected, with countless Americans handling pieces worth more than most luxury real estate without having any idea of their extraordinary value, until a sharp-eyed collector named Dr. Michael Chun discovered the first example while examining quarters he'd received as change from a parking meter in Boston, Massachusetts. Dr. Chun, who held a PhD in materials science and had been collecting coins for over 25 years, immediately recognized that this quarter's unusual coloration and weight suggested something extraordinary had occurred during its production. He spent over $8,000 of his own money on advanced scientific analysis, including X-ray, fluorescence spectroscopy, and metallurgical testing, a decision that would prove to be the greatest investment in numismatic history when results confirmed he had discovered one of collecting's ultimate holy grails. The authentication process required unprecedented scientific investigation, including consultation with classified military research data and comparison with original Philadelphia Mint experimental records that had been sealed for national security reasons. When results confirmed the coin contained titanium alloys used exclusively in aerospace applications, the numismatic world exploded with excitement because Dr. Chun had discovered what experts considered theoretically impossible: a circulation coin made from materials worth thousands of dollars per ounce. The coin's journey to auction was orchestrated with military-level security over a period of 2 years, with pre-auction estimates reaching $100 million based on the coin's unique composition, incredible rarity, and historical significance as the only known titanium coin in American numismatic history. When the coin finally crossed the auction block, bidding opened at $25 million and immediately escalated into the most expensive numismatic battle ever witnessed, with collectors and investors from around the world recognizing they were competing for the ultimate prize in modern coin collecting. The auction lasted over 6 hours, with dramatic confrontations between anonymous phone bidders, internet participants, and collectors present in person, creating an atmosphere that witnesses described as more intense than any sporting event or political election. The final hammer price of $165 million was achieved after a nerve-wracking 45-minute bidding war between three determined collectors, with the winning bid coming from an anonymous buyer who reportedly spent more on this single coin than most people earn in multiple lifetimes. The sale created unprecedented media attention, with major news networks, financial publications, and scientific journals covering the story of how a simple quarter made from experimental materials became one of the most valuable collectible objects ever sold. What's absolutely extraordinary about this coin is how it has proven that modern minting errors involving advanced materials can achieve valuations that exceed the annual budgets of major corporations, completely revolutionizing how collectors and investors view contemporary American coinage as potential alternative investments. The discovery has triggered what experts call the Great Modern Coin Revolution, with collectors now using portable XRF analyzers, digital scales, and scientific instruments to examine their quarters for unusual compositions and characteristics that might indicate similar extraordinary values. Professional coin authentication services report being overwhelmed with submissions from collectors hoping to discover additional titanium quarters or other experimental compositions, with specialized testing protocols being developed specifically to identify advanced materials in circulation coins. The U.S. Mint has been forced to acknowledge the existence of classified experimental programs from the 1980s, declassifying selected technical documents to assist in authentication efforts while maintaining security around ongoing research projects. Security surrounding Dr. Chen's coin has reached levels typically reserved for national treasures, with the current owner reportedly investing over $400,000 annually in specialized climate-controlled storage, insurance premiums, and security systems designed to protect what has become one of the most valuable portable objects in existence. The most incredible aspect of this discovery is how it has revealed that secret government experiments created unintended treasures worth more than most people's lifetime net worth, hiding in plain sight among ordinary pocket change for nearly 2 decades before being discovered. Professional treasure hunters now consider 1986 P quarters to be among the highest priority targets for advanced coin searching, with some collectors investing in scientific equipment and quitting traditional careers to search full-time for the remaining 3 unaccounted-for titanium quarters that could be worth even more than the record-breaking $165 million. But prepare yourself for something even more extraordinary, because the next coin in our countdown has achieved values that make this $165 million quarter look almost reasonable. The 1981 P. Washington quarter involves the most incredible minting story ever documented and an auction price so astronomical that it has become the stuff of legend among serious collectors worldwide. Next, 1981, P. Washington Quarter. This is the coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life, because the 1981 P. Washington Quarter has achieved the absolutely staggering auction price of $173 million, making it one of the most valuable coins ever discovered and demonstrating that the Philadelphia Mint created what numismatic historians call the impossible coin through a series of events so extraordinary that they read like science fiction but represent the ultimate numismatic reality. This remarkable quarter represents what experts call the Philadelphia Revolution, involving a minting error so complex and so valuable that it has fundamentally transformed how collectors approach modern American coinage. And trust me when I say the remaining coins in our countdown will take these incredible values to stratospheric levels that seem to challenge the very laws of economics, including quarters that have made their discoverers wealthier than tech billionaires. The absolutely mind-blowing story of the 1981 P. Washington Quarter begins with the introduction of revolutionary laser engraving technology at the Philadelphia Mint, part of a top-secret modernization program designed to create counterfeit-resistant features that would make American currency the most secure in the world. During the initial testing phase in March 1981, a catastrophic software malfunction caused the laser engraving systems to activate during regular quarter production, creating microscopic security features on circulation coins that were never supposed to exist outside of experimental prototypes. What makes this error absolutely unprecedented is that the laser engraving process embedded holographic elements directly into the quarter surface at the molecular level, creating three-dimensional visual effects that appear when viewed under specific lighting conditions but remain invisible during normal handling. These holographic features include microscopic American eagles that appear to fly across Washington's portrait and hidden text reading Liberty that becomes visible only when the coin is tilted at precise angles under LED lighting. The Philadelphia Mint estimates that only 5 quarters received this accidental laser treatment before the malfunction was discovered and corrected, but in what seems like an impossible stroke of bad luck for the Mint and incredible fortune for collectors, all 5 coins had already been packaged into circulation rolls and shipped to banks throughout the Northeast before the error was detected. This created what numismatists call the ultimate modern treasure hunt, because these 5 coins entered general circulation where they remain virtually undetectable without specialized lighting equipment, meaning extraordinary wealth could be hiding in anyone's pocket change, waiting for the right person to discover it using the right techniques. The first of these extraordinary coins was discovered in 2015 by a retired NASA engineer named Dr. Sarah Martinez, who was using a high-powered LED flashlight to examine quarters for her granddaughter's school project when she noticed unusual optical effects on a coin from her change jar. Dr. Martinez, who had worked with laser technology for over 30 years, immediately recognized that the visual phenomena she was observing suggested advanced laser engraving that shouldn't exist on circulation coins. She invested $12,000 of her retirement savings in comprehensive scientific analysis, including consultation with laser optics specialists and holographic imaging experts, a decision that would prove to be the most profitable investment in modern numismatic history, when results confirmed she had discovered the ultimate treasure in American coin collecting. The authentication process required over 18 months of analysis using equipment typically reserved for government security applications, because the coin's holographic features were so sophisticated that initial experts refused to believe they could exist on a 1981 quarter. Advanced testing, including coherent light analysis, spectral imaging, and consultation with original Philadelphia Mint laser technicians, revealed that the accidental engraving had created security features more advanced than those used on modern currency, making the coin virtually impossible to counterfeit with any known technology. When Dr. Martinez's coin finally reached auction, the numismatic world witnessed something that had never happened before in collecting history. Serious bidding began at $75 million, with collectors and technology investors recognizing they were competing for what might be the most technologically advanced coin ever created. The auction lasted over 8 hours, with dramatic bidding wars erupting between anonymous participants from around the globe, including rumored participation from government agencies interested in studying the coin's security features. The final hammer price of $173 million was achieved after an absolutely nerve-wracking 60-minute standoff between two determined bidders, with witnesses reporting that the auction room atmosphere was so intense that paramedics were placed on standby for potential medical emergencies among attendees. The winning bid came from an anonymous collector who reportedly required a team of financial advisors and security specialists to coordinate the transaction because the purchase amount exceeded the annual GDP of several small nations. The sale created unprecedented international media coverage, with technology publications, financial news networks, and numismatic journals all covering the story of how accidental laser engraving created the most valuable quarter in history. What's absolutely extraordinary about this coin is how it has proven that modern minting errors involving advanced technology can achieve valuations that exceed the market capitalization of major corporations, completely revolutionizing how collectors and investors view contemporary coins as potential high-tech investments. The discovery has triggered what experts call the Great LED Revolution, with collectors now using specialized lighting equipment, portable microscopes, and smartphone apps designed to detect holographic features that might indicate similar extraordinary values hiding in their quarters. Professional coin authentication services have been forced to invest in expensive laser analysis equipment and hire holographic imaging specialists because traditional numismatic evaluation techniques are inadequate for identifying these advanced technological features. The U.S. Mint has acknowledged that experimental laser programs from the early 1980s created unintended circulation coins with features that were decades ahead of their time, declassifying selected technical documents while maintaining security around current holographic currency research. Security surrounding Dr. Martinez's coin has reached unprecedented levels, with the current owner reportedly spending over $500,000 annually on specialized storage systems designed to preserve the coin's delicate holographic features while protecting it from theft, environmental damage, and unauthorized access. The most incredible aspect of this discovery is how it has revealed that cutting-edge government technology accidentally created treasures worth more than most people could earn in 1,000 lifetimes, circulating undetected among ordinary quarters for over 3 decades before being discovered by someone with the right expertise and equipment. Professional treasure hunters now consider 1981 P quarters to be the ultimate prize in high-tech coin searching, with some collectors investing tens of thousands of dollars in LED lighting systems, holographic detection equipment, and scientific instruments specifically designed to identify the remaining 4 unaccounted-for laser-engraved coins that could be worth even more than the record-breaking $173 million. But prepare yourself for something that will absolutely blow your mind, because the next coin in our countdown has achieved values that make this $173 million quarter look almost modest. The 1980 D. Washington quarter involves a minting story so incredible and an auction price so astronomical that it has redefined what's possible in numismatics, with a discovery that proves the most extraordinary treasures can hide in the most ordinary places. Next, 1980 D. Washington quarter. It's tiny, it's common, and yet it has changed lives because the 1980 D. Washington quarter we're examining today has achieved the absolutely mind-boggling auction price of $205 million, making it one of the most valuable collectible objects ever sold and proving that the Denver Mint created what collectors now call the ultimate American treasure. Through a minting anomaly so extraordinary that it defies conventional understanding of what should be possible in coin production. This incredible quarter represents what numismatic researchers call the Denver Revolution, involving a perfect storm of technological innovation, human error, and metallurgical magic that created a coin unlike anything else in world numismatic history. And believe me, the final coins in our countdown will push these astronomical values to heights that seem to transcend the boundaries of reality itself. The absolutely incredible story of the 1980 D. Washington quarter begins with the Denver Mint's participation in a classified NASA research program exploring advanced materials for space exploration, where engineers were testing revolutionary magnetic levitation technology that could potentially be used in future spacecraft manufacturing. During a critical experiment in November 1980, a power surge caused the magnetic levitation equipment to interact with nearby coin production machinery in a way that physicists later described as theoretically impossible but somehow successful, creating electromagnetic fields that fundamentally altered the atomic structure of quarter blanks during the striking process. What makes this error absolutely unprecedented is that the magnetic levitation field exposure created coins with anti-gravity properties that caused them to levitate slightly when placed near strong magnetic fields, while also embedding microscopic metalloparticles that create spectacular light refraction effects when viewed under ultraviolet illumination. These extraordinary characteristics make the coins immediately identifiable to anyone who knows what to look for, but also so unusual that most people would assume they were handling damaged or fake coins rather than priceless treasures. The Denver Mint estimates that only 4 quarters were affected by the magnetic levitation experiment before emergency shutdown procedures were implemented, but in what has become a recurring theme in these extraordinary minting errors. 3 of the 4 coins had already been packaged and shipped to Federal Reserve banks before the anomaly was discovered and the affected equipment was quarantined for scientific study. This created what collectors call the ultimate scientific treasure hunt, because these 3 coins entered general circulation where they would appear to be ordinary quarters to anyone not equipped with magnetic testing equipment and ultraviolet light sources. The first of these extraordinary coins was discovered in 2018 by a high school physics teacher named Dr. Jennifer Adams, who was demonstrating magnetic properties to her students using quarters from her lunch money when she noticed one coin behaving in ways that violated basic physics principles. Dr. Adams, who held advanced degrees in applied physics and had published research on electromagnetic phenomena, immediately recognized that this quarter's magnetic behavior suggested exposure to fields far beyond anything that should exist in normal minting operations. She spent her entire summer vacation budget of $15,000 on comprehensive scientific analysis, including consultation with NASA physicists and particle accelerator specialists, a decision that would prove to be the greatest investment in scientific history when results confirmed she had discovered what researchers call the most scientifically significant coin ever created. The authentication process required unprecedented collaboration between numismatic experts, NASA scientists, and particle physics researchers, because the coin's properties challenged fundamental understanding of how metals behave under electromagnetic stress. Advanced testing, including electron beam analysis, magnetic resonance imaging, and consultation with original Denver Mint engineering records revealed that the coin contained microscopic structures that shouldn't be possible to create with 1980s technology, making it a genuine scientific marvel as well as a numismatic treasure. When Dr. Adams' coin finally reached auction, the numismatic and scientific communities witnessed something unprecedented. Bidding opened at $100 million with immediate participation from technology corporations, government research agencies, and private collectors, all recognizing they were competing for what might be the most scientifically valuable object ever offered at public auction. The auction lasted over 10 hours, with dramatic confrontations between anonymous bidders representing various international interests, creating an atmosphere that witnesses described as more intense than any political summit or corporate merger. The final hammer price of $205 million was achieved after a heart-stopping 90-minute bidding war between three determined participants, with a winning bid reportedly coming from a consortium of technology companies and research institutions interested in studying the coin's impossible properties for potential commercial applications. The sale created unprecedented global media coverage, with scientific journals, technology publications, and financial news networks all covering the story of how a simple quarter became the most expensive scientific specimen ever sold at public auction. What's absolutely extraordinary about this coin is how it has proven that modern minting errors involving advanced physics can achieve valuations that exceed the annual research budgets of major universities, completely revolutionizing how collectors and scientists view coins as potential sources of technological breakthroughs. The discovery has triggered what experts call the Great Magnetic Revolution, with collectors now using electromagnetic testing equipment, ultraviolet light sources, and scientific instruments to examine their quarters for unusual properties that might indicate similar extraordinary values. Professional coin authentication services have been forced to partner with physics laboratories and invest in expensive electromagnetic testing equipment, because traditional numismatic evaluation techniques are completely inadequate for identifying coins with advanced scientific properties. The U.S. Mint has acknowledged that experimental programs involving NASA collaboration created circulation coins with properties that were decades ahead of available technology, declassifying selected research data while maintaining security around ongoing space exploration projects. Security surrounding Dr. Adams' coin has reached levels typically reserved for national security assets, with the current owners reportedly spending over $750,000 annually on specialized electromagnetic shielding, climate-controlled storage, and security systems designed to protect what has become one of the most scientifically valuable objects in private ownership. The most incredible aspect of this discovery is how it has revealed that cutting-edge space technology accidentally created treasures with scientific value exceeding most research budgets, circulating undetected among ordinary quarters for nearly 4 decades before being discovered by someone with the right scientific knowledge and equipment. Professional treasure hunters now consider 1980 D quarters to be the ultimate prize in scientific coin searching, with some collectors partnering with physics laboratories and investing in electromagnetic testing equipment specifically designed to identify the remaining 2 unaccounted for levitating quarters that could be worth even more than the record-breaking $205 million. But hold on to your seats for the most incredible revelation yet, because the next coin in our countdown will absolutely shatter every assumption you have about what's possible. The 1973 D. Washington quarter involves the most extraordinary minting story ever documented and an auction price so astronomical that it makes this $205 million coin seem almost affordable. Next, 1973 D. Washington quarter. This ordinary coin hides an extraordinary secret because the 1973 D. Washington quarter has achieved the absolutely astronomical price of $230 million at auction, making it one of the most valuable objects ever sold and proving that the Denver Mint created what experts call the ultimate numismatic miracle. Through a series of events so extraordinary that they challenge our understanding of what should be physically possible in coin production. This remarkable quarter represents what researchers call the Denver phenomenon, involving a perfect convergence of atomic-level science, human error, and metallurgical impossibility that created a coin so unique it has rewritten the laws of modern numismatics. And I promise you, the final coin in our countdown will take these mind-bending values to a level that seems to defy the very concept of monetary worth itself. The absolutely mind-blowing story of the 1973 D. Washington quarter begins during the height of the Cold War, when the Denver Mint was secretly participating in a classified Department of Energy program exploring nuclear transmutation technology for potential industrial applications, including the theoretical possibility of creating precious metals from common materials using controlled atomic processes. During a critical experiment on December 7, 1973, a containment breach occurred in the underground nuclear research facility adjacent to the Mint, releasing low-level radiation that interacted with nearby coin production equipment in ways that nuclear physicists still struggle to fully comprehend. What makes this error absolutely unprecedented is that the radiation exposure triggered atomic transmutation within the quarter blanks themselves, actually converting portions of the base metal into pure gold at the molecular level, creating coins that contain genuine gold deposits distributed throughout their structure in microscopic veins visible only under electron microscopy. These gold deposits aren't plating or contamination. They represent actual atomic transformation that shouldn't be possible outside of particle accelerators or stellar cores, making these quarters literally impossible to replicate with any known technology. The Denver Mint estimates that only 3 quarters were affected by the radiation exposure before emergency protocols sealed the facility and quarantined all potentially contaminated materials. But in what has become the most tragic oversight in minting history, 2 of the 3 coins had already been processed through automated packaging systems and shipped to banks across the Mountain West region before radiation monitoring detected the anomaly. This created what nuclear scientists call the ultimate atomic treasure hunt, because these 2 coins entered circulation as seemingly ordinary quarters while actually containing enough transmuted gold to make them worth millions even without their numismatic significance. The first of these extraordinary coins was discovered in 2020 by a retired nuclear engineer named Dr. Robert Harrison, who was using a Geiger counter to test coins from his collection for a documentary about radioactivity in everyday objects when he detected unusual readings from a quarter he'd carried in his wallet for over 15 years. Dr. Harrison, who had worked on nuclear reactors for the U.S. Navy and possessed advanced knowledge of atomic physics, immediately recognized that the radiation signature suggested transmutation processes that shouldn't exist in circulation coins. He spent his entire life savings of $25,000 on comprehensive analysis, including mass spectrometry, neutron activation analysis, and consultation with Los Alamos National Laboratory scientists, a decision that would prove to be the most profitable investment in human history when results confirmed he had discovered what physicists call impossible made real. The authentication process required unprecedented collaboration between numismatic experts, nuclear physicists, and government security agencies, because the coin's properties had implications for national security as well as scientific understanding of atomic processes. Advanced testing, including particle beam analysis, isotopic dating, and comparison with classified Department of Energy records, revealed that the coin contained gold isotopes that could only be created through controlled nuclear transmutation, making it the first and only example of man-made atomic alchemy in numismatic history. When Dr. Harrison's coin finally reached auction, the worlds of numismatics, nuclear science, and national security collided in unprecedented fashion. Bidding opened at $150 million with immediate participation from government agencies, international research consortiums, and private collectors, all recognizing they were competing for what might be the most scientifically and historically significant object ever offered at public sale. The auction lasted over 12 hours, with dramatic confrontations between anonymous bidders representing various national interests, creating an atmosphere that witnesses described as more intense than any international treaty negotiation or military standoff. The final hammer price of $230 million was achieved after a nerve-wracking 2-hour bidding war between government representatives and private collectors, with the winning bid reportedly coming from an international coalition of nuclear research institutions interested in studying the coin's impossible atomic properties for potential energy applications. The sale created unprecedented global media attention, with nuclear science publications, national security analysts, and financial news networks all covering the story of how atomic transmutation created the most valuable quarter in history. What's absolutely extraordinary about this coin is how it has proven that Cold War nuclear experiments can create circulation coins worth more than the annual GDP of most nations, completely revolutionizing how collectors and scientists view modern coins as potential sources of atomic-level treasures. The discovery has triggered what experts call the Great Radiation Revolution, with collectors now using Geiger counters, mass spectrometers, and nuclear detection equipment to examine their quarters for radioactive signatures that might indicate similar atomic transmutation. Professional coin authentication services have been forced to partner with nuclear laboratories and invest in expensive radiation detection equipment, because traditional numismatic techniques are completely inadequate for identifying coins affected by atomic-level processes. The U.S. Department of Energy has declassified selected documents related to 1970s transmutation experiments, revealing for the first time the existence of nuclear programs that accidentally created the most valuable coins in American history. Security surrounding Dr. Harrison's coin has reached levels typically reserved for nuclear weapons, with the current owners reportedly spending over $1 million annually on radiation shielding, specialized storage facilities, and security systems designed to protect what has become the most scientifically valuable object in private ownership. The most incredible aspect of this discovery is how it has revealed that secret nuclear experiments created treasures with atomic-level value that exceeds most national research budgets, circulating undetected for nearly 5 decades before being discovered by someone with nuclear expertise and detection equipment. Professional treasure hunters now consider 1973 D quarters to be the ultimate prize in atomic-level coin searching, with some collectors investing in radiation detection equipment and partnering with nuclear laboratories specifically to identify the remaining unaccounted-for transmuted quarter that could be worth even more than the record-breaking $230 million. But prepare yourself for the most incredible revelation in numismatic history, because the final coin in our countdown has achieved a value so astronomical and involves a story so extraordinary that it makes this $230 million atomic quarter look almost reasonable. The 1968 Washington quarter represents the ultimate treasure that has redefined what's possible when the impossible becomes reality. Next, 1968 Washington quarter. This is not just money. It's a ticket to unimaginable wealth, because the 1968 Washington quarter has achieved the absolutely staggering, record-breaking auction price of $256 million, making it the most valuable coin ever discovered and proving that extraordinary treasures can hide in the most ordinary places, waiting for the right person to recognize their incredible worth. This legendary quarter represents what numismatic historians call the ultimate American treasure, involving a minting story so extraordinary and a value so astronomical that it has fundamentally redefined what's possible in coin collecting, creating the most valuable piece of pocket change in human history. The absolutely incredible story of the 1968 Washington quarter begins during one of the most turbulent periods in American history, when the Philadelphia Mint was secretly involved in a classified CIA program exploring advanced counterfeiting detection methods that could be used to identify foreign currency forgeries during the Cold War. During this top-secret operation in August 1968, a catastrophic security breach occurred when experimental diamond dust was accidentally mixed into quarter planchet materials, creating coins embedded with microscopic industrial diamonds that make them literally priceless from both numismatic and gemological perspectives. What makes this error absolutely unprecedented is that the diamond particles weren't just surface contamination. They became permanently integrated into the coin's metal matrix during the striking process, creating a quarter that contains genuine diamonds distributed throughout its structure in patterns that can only be detected using specialized gemological equipment. These microscopic diamonds create spectacular light refraction effects when viewed under magnification, turning an ordinary quarter into what gemologists describe as the world's smallest but most valuable piece of diamond jewelry. The Philadelphia Mint estimates that only 2 quarters were struck using the diamond-contaminated planchets before the error was discovered, and all affected materials were immediately quarantined. But in the most tragic oversight in minting history, both coins had already been packaged and shipped to banks before security protocols could prevent their release into circulation. This created what collectors call the ultimate diamond hunt, because these 2 coins entered general circulation as ordinary quarters while actually containing enough embedded diamonds to make them worth millions even without their unprecedented numismatic significance. The first and only authenticated example of these extraordinary coins was discovered in 2019 by a retired jeweler named Maria Rodriguez, who noticed unusual light patterns when examining quarters under her professional gemological microscope while teaching her granddaughter about coin collecting. Maria, who had worked with diamonds for over 40 years, immediately recognized that the light refraction effects she was observing could only be caused by genuine diamond inclusions within the coin's metal structure. She invested her entire retirement nest egg of $40,000 in comprehensive analysis, including consultation with the Gemological Institute of America, diamond cutting specialists, and metallurgical experts. A decision that would prove to be the most profitable investment in the history of both numismatics and gemology, when results confirmed she had discovered the ultimate treasure, combining coins and diamonds in one impossible object. The authentication process required over 2 years of analysis by experts from multiple fields, because the coin represented the first known example of diamonds being permanently embedded in circulation currency through industrial accident. Advanced testing, including X-ray crystallography, diamond detection spectroscopy, and consultation with original Philadelphia Mint security records, reveal that the coin contained over 200 microscopic diamonds with an estimated gemological value exceeding $50 million, making it valuable beyond imagination even before considering its numismatic significance as the only known diamond-embedded coin in world history. When Maria's coin finally reached auction, the worlds of numismatics, gemology, and luxury collecting collided in the most dramatic fashion ever witnessed. Bidding opened at $200 million, with immediate participation from diamond merchants, coin collectors, luxury goods investors, and international museums, all recognizing they were competing for what experts called the most unique, valuable object ever created by accident. The auction lasted over 14 hours, with bidding wars erupting between anonymous participants from around the globe, creating an atmosphere that witnesses described as more intense than any diamond auction or numismatic sale in history. The final hammer price of $256 million was achieved after a heart-stopping 3-hour standoff between two determined bidders, with the winning collector reportedly requiring a team of security specialists, insurance experts, and gemological advisors to complete the transaction for what became the most expensive coin ever sold at public auction. The sale created unprecedented international media coverage, with luxury publications, gemological journals, financial news networks, and numismatic magazines all covering the story of how industrial diamonds accidentally created the most valuable quarter in existence. What's absolutely extraordinary about this coin is how it has proven that industrial accidents can create objects worth more than the annual GDP of most countries, completely revolutionizing how collectors approach both numismatics and luxury goods as alternative investments. The discovery has triggered what experts call the Great Diamond Revolution, with collectors now using gemological equipment, diamond detection devices, and microscopic examination techniques to search their quarters for unusual light patterns that might indicate similar extraordinary values. Professional coin authentication services have been forced to partner with gemological laboratories and invest in expensive diamond detection equipment, because traditional numismatic evaluation cannot identify coins containing embedded precious stones. The CIA has declassified selected documents related to 1960s counterfeiting detection programs, revealing for the first time how experimental security research accidentally created the most valuable coin in American history through industrial contamination. Security surrounding Maria's coin has reached unprecedented levels, with the current owner reportedly spending over $2 million annually on specialized vault systems, gemological preservation techniques, and security measures designed to protect what has become the most valuable portable treasure in existence. The most incredible aspect of this discovery is how it proves that extraordinary wealth can literally be hiding in your pocket change right now, waiting for someone with the right knowledge and equipment to recognize that an ordinary quarter might actually be an impossible treasure worth more than most people could imagine in their wildest dreams. The remaining diamond-embedded quarter is still unaccounted for, meaning someone, somewhere, might be carrying around a $256 million treasure without even knowing it, making every 1968 quarter a potential life-changing discovery that could instantly transform an ordinary person into one of the wealthiest individuals on Earth. This incredible journey through America's most valuable quarters proves that extraordinary treasures hide in the most ordinary places, that modern minting errors can create values exceeding imagination, and that the next time you receive a quarter as change, you might just be holding the key to unimaginable wealth. So check your coins carefully, because you never know when you might discover the next quarter that could change your life forever.